I was ice-guyed into a trashy web series as the billionaire CEO. Right back to the day, I got into an elevator with the Cinderella janitor protagonist. She clutched her chest and snapped, "Sir, delete the picture you just took of me." The classic misunderstanding from the original script. The prologue to our love story. Suddenly, a storm of rainbow-colored comments exploded in my vision. Bet you $5 in 3 seconds this guy's gonna rip his tie loose and say, "Woman, you're courting death." Pan, the camera left. I want to see the classic 180-degree wall slam. Hee hee, can't wait to see the cleaning lady become the CEO's wife. I've got City Hall on speed dial. I'll bet 10 top-tier gift subscriptions. The CEO is about to fall for this stubborn girl's spirit. I glanced past the comments, my eyes landing on her trembling hands and cheap, laminated ID badge. I let out a short, sharp laugh. Fall for her? For this noisy, unprofessional accusation based on nothing? I'm a goddamn CEO. Why would I be into Cinderella? Am I sick in the head? As the protagonist stared at me, bewildered, I pressed the intercom button. Human resources? Bella Rossi, custodial staff, 18th floor. Baseless accusation of harassment against an executive, disturbing the peace. Give her a formal reprimand and zero out her performance bonus for the month. It happens again, she's fired. The livestream comments instantly froze. Zero out her bonus? Wait, that's not how the plot is supposed to go. How am I supposed to spend money on this? I thought this was a sweet romance. Is this what I paid for? He can act tough now, but just wait for the groveling arc. This CEO is digging his own grave. I ignored the comments completely and stepped out of the elevator, leaving Bella Rossi standing there, slack-jawed. The comments are still scrolling furiously. Groveling arc confirmed. The harder you act now, CEO, the harder you'll cry later. Waiting for Bella Rossi's comeback story. He's gonna get what's coming to him. Fire her now. Regret it forever. Don't listen to the comments, and you'll pay the price. You'll regret this, CEO. I scoffed. Regret? A groveling arc? Let's review the original script. In the original, I did indeed fall in love with this loudmouth janitor who had no sense of boundaries or professionalism. And then, a series of endless misunderstandings. She thought I was cold and ruthless. I thought she was ungrateful. We tortured each other. Then came the classic tropes. I realize I love her. I start chasing her. Flowers, cars, condos. I throw away my billion-dollar fortune and my dignity as a CEO. I stand in the rain outside her apartment, begging. She slaps me and tells me to get lost. I go crawling back like a simp. Finally, after the black-hearted other woman kidnaps her, I have an epiphany, and she is moved to tears. A happily ever after? I hold Cinderella in my arms and feel like I have the whole world? What a load of crap. I am Damian Blackwood, head of Blackwood Enterprises. My IQ is firmly intact, my methods, ruthless. I didn't start from scratch, no. I stood on the shoulders of giants and tripled my family's industrial empire. The funds that pass through my hands daily are measured in the hundreds of millions. My decisions affect the livelihoods of tens of thousands of employees. How much is 1 second of my time worth? Where should my energy be focused? I'm playing a moronic game of cat and mouse with a janitor who doesn't understand basic workplace etiquette and dares to accuse the CEO of being a creep based on a wild assumption. Or on conquering markets, acquiring competitors, and driving technological innovation. Does that question even require an answer? The groveling arc? That's something only a puppet with a forcibly lowered IQ in a brain-dead CEO drama would do. The kind of mindless garbage that a certain demographic loves to watch. The CEO grinds his dignity into the dust. He treats his business like a joke, all to win back a woman who has nothing going for her besides being kind and stubborn. In the real world, kind and stubborn is just called stupid and pig-headed. Become her simp? Let her have a comeback story at my expense? Based on what? Her skills as a minimum wage janitor? Or her authentic personality, which consists of clutching her chest and screaming whenever something happens? Not a chance in hell. I reach my office, and the phone rang. A glance at the screen, the custom ringtone from my mother. The moment I answered, the comments went berserk again. Main event alert. The CEO is about to use the protagonist as a shield against his family. City Hall Part 2. I bet 10 premium subs on this. Waiting for the CEO to just sweep the janitor off her feet and elope. I put my feet up on the desk and hit the speakerphone button. My mother's voice was full of energy. Damien, next month is the merger with the Sterling family. Victoria Sterling is a fine young woman. You are not to refuse. I thought back to the original script. The supporting female character, Victoria Sterling, was deeply in love with the male lead, but he didn't like her. Instead, he used Bella Rossi as a shield. After being pressured into the marriage, he dragged Bella to the courthouse and got a marriage license. Then they lived together without sleeping together, and feelings gradually developed. Meanwhile, Victoria's love turned to hate, and she transformed into the story's villainess, causing trouble every step of the way. The comments were scrolling even faster. Victoria Sterling. The evil rival has logged on. Get ready for the classic fake relationship trope. The CEO is going to slam the phone down and yell, "I already have someone I love. I will not marry Victoria." But, to the utter bewilderment of the comments, I just said calmly, "I'll listen to you, Mom. Where's Victoria? If it's convenient, we can get the license today." 3 seconds of dead silence on the other end of the line. It seemed even my mother couldn't believe it. Although Victoria and I were childhood sweethearts, I'd never been interested in that spoiled princess. She was probably wondering why I'd had a sudden change of heart. Only I knew that, at this point in the story, Victoria hadn't turned into the villainess yet. She was rich, gorgeous, and her family's company was even bigger than mine. Most importantly, she only had eyes for me. Why would I pass up a wife of that caliber for a janitor making $2,000 a month? Am I crazy, or is everyone else? The comments basically had a collective aneurysm. What happened to running away from the arranged marriage? Where's City Hall? Where's the janitor? Did they get the wrong script? Is this what I pay for my premium subscription to see? My mother's voice trembled slightly. You can't refuse. Wait, what? You agree? Yes, of course I agree. A strategic alliance makes perfect sense. I spun a pen in my fingers. Is Victoria downstairs? Should we head to the courthouse now? My mother laughed. Let's just have the engagement dinner tonight. I'll send out the announcements. The comments started having a meltdown. What about rebelling against the family for love? The original script was fake, wasn't it? Refund. This plot is absolute dogshit. Hanging up, I started working on company documents. Bang! The door was thrown open, slamming against the wall. Bella Rossi stormed it. Her eyes were a little red, her chest heaving as she marched right up to my massive desk. "Mr. Blackwood, on what grounds did you dock my pay?" Her voice was choked with tears, but she was trying to sound tough. "You might be the CEO, but you can't just be unreasonable." The comments, as if zapped with a cattle prod, came back to life. Here we go. Here we go. The main event is late, but it's here. Yes, the janitor is fighting back. So brave. CEO, look up. Look at her stubborn little face. Yes, yes. This is the rhythm. Stand up. Loosen the tie. Wall slam incoming. My screen record button is about to break. Look at that sad little face. CEO, if you don't fall for her now, what are you waiting for? Should we just move City Hall into your office? I leaned back in my executive chair, motionless. I didn't even lift my eyelids. My fingers tapped lightly on the polished surface of a desk. The only sounds in the office were her ragged breathing, the soft tap of my fingers, and the frantic scrolling of those multicolored comments. The comments got even more worked up. Here it comes. The CEO is about to explode. Classic line incoming. Countdown. 3, 2, 1. Shove a mic in the CEO's face. Come on, say it. Woman, you're playing with fire. Or, you successfully caught my attention. Say it. Say something. Finally, I lifted my eyes. My gaze was like an ice pick, piercing through the celebrating comments and pinning her to the spot. There was no anger, no interest, only a pure, cold assessment, as if I were looking at a malfunctioning piece of equipment. Who let you in? Bella was clearly taken aback. The accusation she had prepared got stuck in her throat. She probably expected me to fly into a rage, or maybe fall for her, like the comments were hoping. She hadn't expected this question. I came to ask about my bonus. You need an appointment to enter. That's the protocol. I cut her off. My speech was unhurried, every word crystal clear. Did the front desk announce you? Did my secretary grant you permission? Is your name on the schedule? The comments hiccuped. What the hell? An appointment? CEO, wake up. Is this really the time to talk about appointments? I assent this a romance. Do you two have a blood feud or something? I want my money back. Mr. Blackwood, I'm Bella Rossi from the custodial department. I don't care who you are. I interrupted again, my voice even colder. This is the CEO's office. Who gave you permission to barge in here? Did you not read your employee handbook? What about basic etiquette? Who taught you to storm into someone's office like this? Bella was completely stunned. She stood there with her mouth open, a look of confusion and a hint of panic in her eyes. The dramatic confrontation she had envisioned wasn't happening at all. Her lips moved, but she couldn't get a single word out. The comments were losing it. Etiquette? CEO, you're lecturing Cinderella about etiquette? Ard, wrong script. Where's the wall slam? Where's the spark? Wait, is that really the point right now? It was a misunderstanding, dude. Elmeo, the CEO's priorities are wild, but why do I kind of find this satisfying? Carrot plus one. That janitor really does have no manners. I watched her humiliation with zero emotion. I almost wanted to laugh. What kind of soapy romantic twist were the comments still expecting? That I'd find this utterly unprofessional behavior attractive? No appointment. Trespassing in the CEO's office. I picked up the internal phone, my voice flat. Security. Bella Rossi, 18th floor. Please escort her out. Also, log 1 disciplinary infraction. One more time, and she's terminated as per company policy. Bella's face went white. She probably finally realized that in my eyes, she was truly just an employee who had made a mistake. A problem to be handled according to rules and regulations. It had nothing to do with love, sparks, or wall slams. Not one damn thing. Two tall security guards appeared at the door almost instantly. Miss Rossi, if you please. The guard's voice was polite but firm. Bella looked at the guards, then back at my icy face. She couldn't hold it in anymore. Tears streamed down her face. She stomped her foot and shouted through her sobs, Damian Blackwood, you're an asshole. Then she covered her face and ran out. The comments absolutely exploded. He called security and gave her a write-up? She's crying. Stop. The female lead is crying. CEO, you have no heart. What happened to the sweet wall slam romance? I got all ready for this, and you show me this. Refund. I'm done with this garbage story. Ha ha. Disciplinary infraction. CEO, you're single for a reason. Don't laugh. This is just fuel for the groveling arc. The more he hurts her now, the harder he'll have to beg later. Exactly. All the stupid shit the CEO is doing now will turn into his tears later. Grovel pit confirmed. Listening to the hysterical predictions from the comments, I just found them noisy. A groveling arc? For her? Who gave them that delusion? A janitor who doesn't understand basic workplace rules and whose only response to conflict is impulsiveness and tears. What about her is worth my time to chase? Her talent for creating problems for me, docking her pay, and handling the infraction by the book were just basic management. Romance? Sparks? Chasing her? A waste of life. My time is expensive. Every second needs to count. Who has time to play these childish games with him? After Bella ran out, the office was finally quiet. The comments were still flooding the screen, all groveling warnings and refund protests. I ignored them. It was deafening. I picked up my phone and, out of habit, opened the company's internal security camera system. Not to watch Bella, just a routine security check. My finger swiped across the screen, pulling up the feed for the hallway outside the custodial break room. In a frame, Bella was leaning against the wall. She wasn't crying. Her head was down, and she was furiously tapping her phone screen. Her expression wasn't hurt, but confused and annoyed. The comments suddenly thinned out. Maybe the viewers also noticed something was off about her. I zoomed in on the picture and turned up the volume. The surveillance audio was surprisingly clear. Bella's muttering came through perfectly. This is wrong. Why isn't he following the script at all? She was frowning, talking to her phone screen. Fine. He didn't fall for me in the elevator. But barging into his office is a classic scene. And he lectures me about rules? Gives me a write-up? This Damian Blackwood. Does he really not like me? That can't be right. In the original story, he was already intrigued by me at this point. The comments froze, as if someone had hit the pause button. A few seconds later, they erupted like a volcano. WTF? The script? What did she say? The original story? Following the script? Information overload. My CPU is melting. The female lead knows the plot. She knows she's the female lead? Why do I suddenly feel like the female lead isn't so cute anymore? Holy shit. So the CEO is the only one who doesn't know what's going on? Not so fast. The CEO is watching her on the security feed. Ha ha ha. This is intense. It's like a real-life murder mystery party. It's over, it's over. The CEO heard her. He must be flipping out. Flipping out? You underestimate the CEO. Look at his expression. I was indeed in front of the monitor. My face was blank, my mind calm. So that's how it is. No wonder her behavior was so irrational. Accusing the CEO of being a creep, barging into his office without a thought. It wasn't stupidity. It was because she knew how the plot was supposed to go. She knew I was supposed to fall for her, that I would indulge her, that we would start our so-called love story. Absurd. Bella was still muttering, her voice tinged with anxiety. I heard he's getting engaged to that Victoria Sterling tonight. That's way too soon in the original story. Did I cause a butterfly effect by not following the script? She bit her nails, her eyes darting around as she thought quickly. No, I can't let him get engaged. If he actually marries Victoria Sterling, what happens to my role as the female lead? What about his billions? She suddenly stood up straight, a new determination in her eyes. I have to do something. I'll go to the engagement party, create some kind of misunderstanding, or sabotage it somehow, get the plot back on track. She clenched her fists, psyching herself up. Yes, that's what I'll do. This is a major turning point. I have to get Damien back. Otherwise, my whole Cinderella rags to riches story is ruined. The comments went completely insane. Ha 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 ha. She's going to sabotage it. Crashing the wedding? For the plot? Oh, Mayo, get the plot back on track. Girl, get a grip. Live from the script correction department. I can't breathe. CEO, I'm just going to sit here and watch you make a fool of yourself. It's over. It's over. The CEO heard everything. He must be furious. Furious? I think I saw the corner of his mouth twitch. Good eye. The CEO is smirking. He is definitely smirking. This is going to be good. The CEO is prepared for tonight. The female lead is toast. Toast. The CEO knows she's just a plot device now. He'll show even less mercy. Groveling? A redemption arc? Not happening. This is payback time. I can't wait to see the train wreck tonight. This is going to be epic. I looked at the image of the determined Bella Rossi on the monitor. She was still there, planning how to create a misunderstanding, how to get Damien back. All for her ridiculous female lead script. I switched off the monitor. The office returned to silence. The comments were still celebrating, predicting the epic showdown at the engagement party tonight. I leaned back in my chair, tapping my fingers lightly on the armrest. A misunderstanding? Causing trouble? Getting me back. For the plot. She thinks she's the protagonist, rewriting her own destiny. Too bad. In Damien Blackwood's world, the script? I'm the one who writes it, and no one tells me my lines. In the afternoon, there were 3 polite knocks on my office door. Come in. The door opened. Victoria Sterling was standing there. She was exquisitely dressed today, a perfect smile on her face. Her eyes were bright as they looked at me, filled with an undisguised joy. Damien, her voice was soft, laced with a sort of cautious excitement. Am I bothering you? The comments immediately perked up. Oh, damn. The rival appears. It's Victoria, the CEO's fiancée. Tis TSK, look at that gaze. She's smitten. Love, rivals meeting? No, wait, the female lead isn't here. Waiting for the drama to start, though I guess it hasn't yet. She's gorgeous. Much easier on the eyes than that janitor. Carrot +1. This is a real power couple. Have a seat. I put down my files and poured her a glass of water. There was no need to be deliberately cold with her. Victoria walked in, gently closing the door behind her. She didn't barge in like Bella, and she didn't sit down. She just stood a few feet from my desk, her hands clasped in front of her, her posture perfect. But the way she looked at me was more intense than ever before, tinged with a sense of relief, as if she'd gotten back something she'd lost. Damien, she said again, her voice trembling slightly. I just really wanted to see you. It's so good to see you again. Her words made me pause. Countless comments scrolled by. What kind of opening line is that? Something feels off here. Victoria took a deep breath. She looked at me, her eyes filled with guilt, fear, and the clarity of someone who had survived a disaster. Damien, I know I'm being emotional. I had a dream. In the dream, because I couldn't have your love, because of jealousy and resentment, I did so many foolish things. I became hideous, unrecognizable. The comments instantly detonated. WTF? A dream? Isn't that the plot of the original story? Could it be? Victoria knows the plot too. Information overload. My brain is going to explode. How many people in this show got a do-over? What about the CEO? The writers need to be fired. This plot twist is insane. Victoria couldn't see the frantic comments, of course. Her eyes were only on me. She continued. I was like a mad woman. I hurt you, I hurt others, and in the end, I completely destroyed myself. Her eyes reddened, her voice choked, but incredibly firm. Now the dream is over. I won't let love turn to hate again. I won't be blinded by jealousy anymore. She took a step forward, her gaze sincere. I will cherish this chance. I'll cherish you. I'll do my best to be worthy of you, to be a wife who truly understands and supports you. Damien, let me love you properly. The comments went completely haywire. It really is a do-over. The rival character got a second chance. She knows the plot. She's admitting she was the evil rival in her past life because of unrequited love. Holy shit. This twist. This plot. It's brilliant. So she's going for a redemption arc now? She's going to be the perfect wife. Bella Rossi? Am I the clown here? 2 characters with future knowledge versus one oblivious CEO? How is this going to play out? CEO, say something. You're killing me. The office was silent. There was only the sound of Victoria's slightly ragged breathing, the shimmer of tears in her eyes, and the rainbow-colored comments that were about to burn through my screen. I looked at Victoria. The sincerity and determination in her eyes didn't seem fake. She had truly changed, from a spoiled, arrogant princess into a woman who had experienced pain, learned to reflect, and was resolved to be different. Interesting. A janitor screaming about fixing the script. A fiancé confessing she's reborn and repentant. Just how many scripts and past lives are there in this world that I don't know about? I met Victoria's earnest gaze and offered a small smile. The engagement party is tonight. Don't be late. At 7 p.m. The ballroom of the Blackwood estate was ablaze with light, packed with guests. It was a who's who of the city's elite, a sea of designer gowns and hushed conversations over clinking glasses. Victoria and I stood at the head of the room, accepting congratulations that were a mix of genuine and obligatory. She had her arm linked through mine. Her smile was poised, her eyes clear. She was steady. The comments had already been in a frenzy for hours. Wow. The engagement party. So fancy. Where's the female lead? Where is she? Come on out and make some trouble. I'm dying of anticipation. Why hasn't the janitor shown up yet? Waiting for the epic scene. Will the CEO protect his wife? Or will it be a total bloodbath? I bet the female lead arrives any second now. My head of security, Marcus Kane, materialized at my side, speaking in a low voice. Mr. Blackwood, Bella Rossi managed to get in. She's wearing a server's uniform, snooping around the side hall. Should we handle it? I swirled the ice in my glass. No, let her stay. Let's see what she does. Kane nodded and retreated. Victoria glanced at me, her eyes questioning. I gave a slight shake of my head, indicating it was nothing. She didn't press, just tightened her grip on my arm. The comments caught the exchange. What did the security guy say? The CEO's expression is so shady. It's definitely about the female lead. The CEO said no. He's doing this on purpose. This is going to be good. CEO, let the games begin. It wasn't long before a small commotion started in the side hall. Bella's voice, deliberately loud and laced with a tearful panic, carried clearly across the room. Oh my God, isn't that Mr. Blackwood? And who is that woman with him? Mr. Blackwood even sent me those pictures. She clutched a phone with a lit screen in her hand, pretending she wanted to show people while fearfully snatching back. A few nearby guests were drawn in, their faces showing suspicion. The comments instantly lit up. Here we go, here we go. The classic frame-up. The inappropriate pictures trope is late, but it's here. Ha 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 ha. The janitor has begun her performance. Quick, point the camera over there. What's going on? Someone asked in a low voice. Bella's eyes were red-rimmed, her voice just loud enough for the surrounding crowd to hear. I'm an employee at Blackwood Enterprises. Mr. Blackwood took pictures of me in the elevator and threatened me. He said he liked me. She shot a look at me and Victoria, her eyes a perfect blend of innocence and accusation. The whispers in the crowd grew louder. I started darting between me, Victoria, and Bella. Suspicion, curiosity, and the thrill of watching a good drama. The comments were ecstatic. Yes, yes. This is the stuff. CEO, explain yourself. Protect your fiancé. Fight, fight, fight. The smile on Victoria's face faded. She unlinked her arm from mine. I thought she was going to question me, or be humiliated. She didn't either. She walked straight towards Bella. Her steps were steady, her presence commanding. Comments. The rival is on the attack. The queen is making her move. Seeing Victoria approach, a flicker of triumph crossed Bella's face, as if she thought her plan had worked. She held up her phone, her voice even more pathetic. Miss Sterling, look, this is the proof. Mr. Blackwood, Victoria didn't even glance at the phone screen. She stopped right in front of Bella, their proximity uncomfortably close. Her gaze was as sharp as a scalpel, her voice cold and clear, cutting through the surrounding chatter. Bella Rossi. The immediate area fell silent. Victoria stared at her, enunciating every word. Cut the act. It's cheap, and it's pathetic. The wounded expression on Bella's face froze. What did you say? Victoria gave a cold laugh, her voice carrying to everyone nearby. What pictures? Photoshopped? Or just some random images you pulled off the internet? You think anyone here is stupid enough to fall for such a low-life accusation? She took half a step forward, her aura completely overpowering Bella. You really think no one knows what happened in the elevator today? You made a baseless accusation against the CEO, caused a disturbance, got a formal reprimand, and your bonus zeroed out. Now, holding a grudge, you crash my engagement party to spread rumors, get revenge on Mr. Blackwood. and humiliate me in the process. The blood drained from Bella's face. Her lips trembled. You're lying. I have proof. Proof. Victoria scoffed, her eyes filled with an all-knowing contempt. Your so-called proof does nothing but prove your malicious intent. Does it prove that Damian Blackwood would throw away a fiancé from a family of equal standing, someone he's known his whole life, to harass a low-level employee with no professionalism, a head full of delusions, and a taste for dirty tricks? Her words were like a whip, and Bella staggered under the force of them. The comments completely lost it. Holy shit. Victoria is a badass. Queen behavior. That was savage. She just ripped her to shreds. No mercy. The janitor's face is priceless. Ha ha ha. Bella was in a full-blown panic. She never expected Victoria to not only disbelieve her, but to expose her entire backstory. She shrieked, You're lying? You're just jealous. Damian is meant to be with me. Shut your mouth. Victoria snapped, her voice dropping to absolute zero. You think you have the right to say his name? He's my fiancé. He is the CEO of Blackwood Enterprises. And you? Were you? An employee on the verge of being fired who has the audacity to stand here and slander him. She lifted her chin slightly, her expression one of utter disdain. Security, get this person who is disturbing the peace and committing libel out of my sight. 2 massive guards immediately moved in. Bella completely broke down. She started screaming, a desperate, hysterical sound. It's not supposed to be like this. This isn't how it goes. I'm the main character. I'm the protagonist. Damian is supposed to love me. You're all just supporting characters. You don't understand. This isn't the script. She struggled like a feral animal as the guards half-carried, half-dragged her out. Her screams faded into the distance. The comments were silent for a few seconds, then erupted in a frenzy. Did the female lead just have a mental breakdown? HOLY shit. She just outed herself in public. That's social suicide. It's completely over for her. Victoria, was that all? CEO indifferent. JPG, that was satisfying. So damn satisfying. This counterattack was perfect. Groveling arc? More like her ashes are being scattered to the wind. The ballroom quickly returned to a semblance of calm. Victoria walked back to my side, her poised smile back in place, as if nothing had happened. She leaned in and asked quietly, Did that scare you? I looked into her bright eyes, which held only concern for me and a tiny spark of pride in a job well done. I shook my head. That was handled perfectly. She smiled. The comments were still going. Victoria gets a perfect 10 for that performance. This is the kind of fiancé you want. When there's trouble, she handles it. The CEO is a lucky man. Female lead script? Ripped to shreds. Groveling arc? Does not exist. The engagement party ended, and the guests dispersed. Victoria and I got into the car, and the driver started the engine. The comments were still reliving the drama. So good. The janitor is finished. Victoria has an aura of a queen. I shipped these two so hard. Female lead script? Ripped up and fed to the dogs. The car pulled away from the estate and onto the expressway. Streetlights streaked past the window. Victoria was leaning against my shoulder, her eyes closed, very quiet. Suddenly, crash, a massive impact. The car body shuddered violently, tires screeching against the pavement. The sudden stop threw my head against the back of the front seat. The comments instantly exploded. WTF? Car crash. Kidnapping. This has to be the kidnapping from the original script. The female lead's revenge? Does she have it in her? Victoria is in danger. The car door was ripped open and cold air flooded in. Several hands in black gloves reached inside, strong and purposeful. Their target was Victoria. I immediately moved to block them, but my wrist was caught in an iron grip and twisted behind my back. Don't move, a hoarse voice growled, reeking of cheap booze. Victoria was dragged out of the car. She didn't scream. She was calm, her sharp eyes scanning her attackers. Damian, don't move. They have a knife, she yelled to me. The comments were frantic. Victoria is so calm. The CEO is pinned down. It's over. It really is a kidnapping. Did the female lead do this? I was pinned against the seat, watching as Victoria was shoved into an unmarked van. The door slammed shut, and the van sped off, disappearing into the night. The comments were a blur. Call the cops, CEO. Go after them. I threw off the hand holding me down and rubbed my numb wrist. Mr. Blackwood, what do we do? The driver asked, his face pale. I ignored him, pulled out my phone, and dialed my head of security. Marcus, Victoria's been taken. Black, unmarked van just got on the South Expressway. They're heading for the abandoned chemical plant on the east side. Keep a tail on them and wait for my signal. My voice was fast and steady. I hung up and dialed another number. Commissioner Evans, it's Damian Blackwood. I need you to run a background check on a few people. I'm sending you their files now. My voice was completely devoid of emotion. The comments were baffled. He's not calling 911? He seems to know who did it. The East Side Chemical Plant? Isn't that where the rival kidnaps the main character in the original script? Did the CEO just unlock a new power? Does he know the future? Wait, could the CEO know the plot too? The car screeched into a U-turn, the engine roaring as we raced toward the east side of the city. The chemical plant was in a desolate area, a massive black shadow hunched against the night sky. A lookout, a skinny guy, was posted at the gate. He panicked when he saw my car and scrambled back inside. I got out and walked in alone. The comments started screaming. He's going in by himself? CEO, don't be reckless. Where are the bodyguards? The factory floor was vast, with broken lights dangling from the ceiling, casting a dim, gloomy light. Victoria was tied to a chair in the middle. She looked at me, her eyes signaling that she was okay. Bella Rossi stood beside her, clutching a fruit knife. The blade was shaking badly. Her eyes were bloodshot, her hair a mess. She looked like a gambler who had lost everything. Damian, you finally came. Her voice was shrill, on the verge of tears. You forced me to do this. The comments flew across the screen. It really was her. She's lost it. Completely snapped. A knife. She has a knife. It's so close to Victoria's neck. I stopped about 30 feet away from them. My gaze swept over Victoria, confirming she wasn't hurt, before settling on Bella. Let her go. My voice was as cold as ice. Let her go. Bella laughed, a hysterical, unhinged sound, waving the knife around wildly. And then what? Let you call the cops on me? Let me go to prison? No. She suddenly pressed the tip of a knife against Victoria's neck. Victoria's body tensed, but she didn't make a sound. What? Bella screamed at me, tears and snot running down her face. Damian, tell me why. In the original story, you weren't like this. You were supposed to love me. You were supposed to go crazy for me. Why do you look at me like I'm trash now? Why her? She gestured at Victoria, the knife pressing in a fraction of an inch deeper. The comments held their breath. Oh God, she's gonna draw blood. CEO, just placate her. Say Victoria first. Say something nice. Just calm her down. I looked at Bella's contorted face. She was a pathetic puppet, strangled by her so-called script, and now driven completely mad by its collapse. Absurd. A waste of my time. I was about to speak. Huh. A soft, cold laugh escaped Victoria's lips. Bella whipped her head down. What are you laughing at? Victoria tilted her head slightly, just enough to move away from the blade. A thin, red line appeared on her neck. She looked at Bella, her expression like she was staring at a bug in a sewer, filled with utter contempt. You think you're worthy? Her voice was quiet, but it was as clear as a razor blade scraping across glass. Bella was stunned. What? Victoria looked her straight in the eye, her words like shards of ice. You're asking why? You think you're worthy of his answer? A moron who only knows how to throw tantrums and resort to pathetic, low-life kidnappings. A waste of space who can't function without her female lead script. A pitiful creature who doesn't even know who she is. Victoria lifted her chin slightly. Even with a knife to her throat, her presence completely crushed Bella. You think you have the right to ask Damian Blackwood why he doesn't love you? Who the hell do you think you are? Bella froze completely. Her pupils dilated, her lips trembled, as if those words had drained all the strength from her body. The color vanished from her face, leaving behind a deathly gray. No, she mumbled. The knife in her hand clattered to the concrete floor. Suddenly, blinding floodlights erupted from the factory ceiling, pinning Bella in their beams. The sound of heavy footsteps echoed from all directions as my security team swarmed in. Marcus Kane was at the front, tackling the catatonic Bella to the ground. The ropes on Victoria were quickly cut. I walked over. Victoria immediately stood and threw herself into my arms, her body trembling slightly. Her earlier calm had been an act. It's over, I said, patting her back. I glanced at Bella, now a heap on the floor. She was being hauled up roughly, her eyes empty, repeating over and over, I'm the main character. I am. The comments were silent for a few seconds, then exploded. Victoria? SHE murdered her. That last line was a kill shot. The janitor's soul just got obliterated. Who the hell do you think you are? Quote of the year. This is the real fire and brimstone. Bella's soul is in the crematorium. The CEO was stone-faced the whole time. His inner monologue. My wife is so cool. Police sirens wailed in the distance. I held Victoria and walked out of the ruined factory. Behind us were Bella's broken sobs and the absolute pandemonium of the comments. The red and blue lights of the police cars flashed against the car window, jarring and loud. Bella's hoarse cries were finally silenced by the slam of a patrol car door, like watching a dying fish flail behind thick glass. Is it over? Victoria leaned against my shoulder, her voice a little raw. Yes. The car started, leaving the chaos behind. The comments were still flying. The janitor is done for. A joyous day for all. Queen Victoria is a legend. Lock her down, CEO. I'm so satisfied with this ending. 10 gifted subs. What's next? City Hall. Don't rush it. They're definitely going home to kiss and make up. Waiting for the premium content. Hey. The drive was smooth. Victoria closed her eyes, her breathing evening out. The cut on her neck was shallow and had already dried. I didn't speak, just tapped my fingers on my knee as if reviewing a high-risk corporate acquisition. Except this time, the cleanup seemed to be complete. The comments quieted for a moment, then grew restless again. What's the CEO thinking about? Reliving his fiancée's badass moment. He's definitely thinking about how to comfort her. I'm dying here. Say something, CEO. The car pulled up in front of Victoria's apartment building. We're here, the driver said quietly. Victoria opened her eyes, her gaze clear again. The fierceness that had shredded Bella at the factory was gone. Her steps were a little unsteady as she got out. I followed her. I'll walk you up, I said. She didn't refuse, just nodded. The elevator was small, just the two of us. The numbers climbed, floor by floor in silence. The comments couldn't take it anymore. The elevator, it's the elevator again. The circle of fate. The CEO has to fall for her now, right? The atmosphere is perfect. Kiss her, you fool. I'm dying. I bet $5 he can't wait until they get inside her apartment. Victoria leaned against the elevator wall, glanced at me, then quickly looked away. The light hit her face, quiet and serene. Ding. The doors opened. We were at her floor. The hallway was carpeted, muffling our footsteps. At her apartment door, she took out her keys. The jingle of metal was loud in the silence. The key turned. Click. The door unlocked. Victoria didn't go in right away. She turned, her very soft. Yes. She didn't say anything else, just looked at me. Her eyes held so much, the relief of a survivor, and a kind of indefinable resolve. She rose up on her toes slightly, her face moving closer. The movement was slow, a little tentative. Her target was clear, my lips. The comments went ballistic. Ah, they're kissing. They're kissing. The paid content is finally here. Give the cameraman a raise. Get a close-up. The wedding night is happening early. City Hall just delivered itself to their doorstep. Her warm breath washed over my face. I didn't move away. Her lips were soft, trembling slightly, and they met mine with the courage of a final gamble and the slick relief of survival. Like a feather finally finding a place to land. I didn't close my eyes. My gaze went past her fluttering eyelashes and saw something more. The floating, ecstatic, distorted, rainbow-colored comments. They were tumbling and exploding all around us. A silent, manic celebration. OMG, Mom, my ship is real. Perfect lips. Perfect angle. Close your eyes, CEO. Enjoy it. Quick. Twirl her around. Princess Carrie. Throw her over your shoulder and take her inside. Paywall. I want to see the paywalled content. Take my money. Just as the tip of Victoria's tongue gently traced my lower lip, tentatively seeking more. I moved, not to return the kiss. My arm went up over her head, not to embrace her. I grabbed the thick, fluffy, wool winter blanket that was hanging on a hook just inside her door, and I yanked it hard. The enormous blanket fell like a heavy curtain, bringing with it the faint smell of dust and mothballs, and with a whoosh, it came down over our heads. In an instant, it completely covered our closely pressed bodies, our mingled breath, and the kiss that had just begun. Everything went black. There was only the sound of fabric rustling and our breathing, which was suddenly loud and rapid. The comments sounded like a flock of strangled chickens. Black screen? A blanket? The CEO grabbed a blanket? FUCK fuck. Where's the picture? A censor bar? What about the paid content? CEO, you did that on purpose, you bastard. Is he part blanket? Why would you block the view? Refund. I paid for a premium subscription to see this black screen. Cameraman, get in there and film it, you idiot. ARG. In the darkness, the blanket blocked the light, and it also blocked out that noisy, comment-covered world outside. Victoria's body tensed for a second. Then, I felt her shoulders begin to shake in my arms. Not from fear, from suppressed laughter. A muffled giggle escaped from under the blanket, her warm breath puffing against my neck, tickling me. You, she managed to get out, her voice full of laughter and a little breathless. Yes. I pulled her a little closer, my palm pressing against her back through the thick wool, muffling her laughter even more. Blocking the comments, I said, my explanation brief. All those frantic, colorful words demanding to see the paid content were now completely shut out by this barrier. In the darkness, her body went still. Comments, she whispered. The audience, I said. They were getting noisy. There was a long pause. Then, I felt her relax against me, a soft, breathy laugh escaping her lips. An audience. Of course, she murmured, her voice full of a strange, wry understanding. It always felt like I was in some kind of ridiculous play. I didn't argue. Outside the blanket, the comments had descended into complete anarchy. Open the door. If you got the guts to block the camera, you've got the guts to open the door. CEO, I command you to lift that blanket immediately. I'm calling the police. This is fraud. False advertising. Cameraman, are you dead? Get under there. It's over, it's over. The CEO has leveled up. He knows how to block the stream. The premium content is gone. My lifeblood, my everything. Black screen protest. We will not stand for this. Wait, does a black screen mean? There. Doing things in there. Why shit. It's possible. That's even hotter. Maximum room for imagination. CEO, you're a genius. It's reverse psychology. Advanced tactics. Damn it. The damnable charm of this man. Blocking the view makes me want to see it even more. Damian Blackwood, you have made an enemy for life. Give me back my wedding night scene. It was warm inside the blanket. Her hair brushed against my chin, making it itch. Our breathing was clear, still carrying the warmth from a kiss. The world had shrunk to this tiny, dark space, occupied only by the two of us. No comments, no script, no protagonist or antagonist. Just me, her, and this thick wool blanket that shut everything else out. It was nice. Outside the blanket, madness reigned. The comments cursed and cried. Inside the blanket, there was only peace. I held her for a moment longer. Inside, I asked in a low voice. She hummed, her voice smiling. She fumbled for my hand and led me backward through the doorway. The door closed gently behind us. A soft click. It shut out the last sliver of light from the hallway. And with it, it completely shut out all prying eyes and the frantically scrolling comments from the outside world. The world was finally quiet. The screen went completely black. A final, lonely comment drifted by, filled with immense despair and rage. The end.